Well, welcome to Focus Today. I'm your host, Perry Atkinson, and boy, am I delighted to have back with us today somebody that has a story here that is just stunning. And hopefully you'll buckle your seatbelts and ride with us today, because we are delighted to have back with us Walid Shoebat, former PLO and Muslim Brotherhood member, but now peace activist. We've had the honor of having him before, and his son. But Walid, I heard you on Mark Levin the other day, and it was one of those moments in radio where I got to where I was going and I had to stay in the car to finish listening to you. And it was a stunning story that you shared with us, his audience, about the Islamic human slaughterhouses for Christians. Amazing. Good to see you. How are you doing, my friend?
Thank you. I'm very well.
Well, fill us in on this. I don't even know where we start. It's hard to believe that this is going on, but share with us about these slaughterhouses.
Well, I always monitor the Middle East for the persecution of Christians, because we run an organization called Rescue Christians. And as I was looking at this report that was covered by Arab media, Al Jazeera covered some of it, nobody covered the full thing. They covered an interview of an FSA soldier named Saif al-Adlubi. Saif al-Adlubi was in the FSA. He's a Muslim fundamentalist himself, and he was arrested by the ISIS. The ISIS is the Islamic group that basically covers the Levant and Syria. They want to basically, they're the most extremist group that want to basically take over the whole Levant region, which is Iraq and Syria. They're the most extremist group, of course. And as he was giving his testimony, and he got out of the prison system because the FSA had invaded that prison, and in the last moments he was released. And in the story he tells, it was quite astonishing. I couldn't believe what he was saying, because he was saying that he witnessed human slaughterhouse. I believe that prison system he was in is in Adana, and they had this human slaughterhouses separate from the local neighborhoods, if you will. It's a secluded place where there is no homes around. They set up these human slaughterhouses. And they have kangaroo courts in which he was accused of being part of the media. I researched the guy. He was a blogger, and he considered himself an FSA media. He had his Facebook. He download stories of victories and what have you. And so he was considered media in the FSA. And since he was considered media, and he was considered an infidel, and he was asking the court, what is my destiny here? Will I take 1 year prison, 2 year prison? They said, no. And the Arabic, they told him, Abshir bil-dhabh, which means the good news. You will be sacrificially slaughtered. And he described several cases he saw. One of them is a Christian Armenian, that there was the slaughterhouse, guy that was doing the slaughtering was feeling the necks of the row of people he's about to slaughter. Wow. And one was an Armenian, and he says, your neck is tender because you're an aged man. I wouldn't have to sharpen my blade.
Whoa.
Then he talked about how he witnessed how these people were slaughtered, hung upside down like sheep, disemboweled, and processed as if it's in a meat factory.
Whoa.
And then he was weighing the heads. He says they would weigh the heads. This is 5 kilograms. This head is 6 kilograms, and so on and so forth. And somebody would come, he was about to get slaughtered, but he was also working in the slaughterhouse, the human slaughterhouse. Of course, you see something like this, you don't believe it. Then you begin to investigate. Then you find out footage that confirms 100% what this guy is talking about in a different human slaughterhouse in Sib'a that was captured 3 years before. And that slaughterhouse belonged to the FSA in its initial stage when it was first starting the revolution.
Wow.
So it was carried out by the FSA. So you have FSA also. And it was ran by a woman named Muhammad, a Sunni Muslim woman, who was doing the slaughtering. You can see the video, and a video is worth 1,000 words, the meticulous cutting of the heads and the limbs and everything else. And then I research further, and I, get to my contacts that I have, Syrian contacts, and what I got is another footage of another slaughterhouse in Bayad, in which you see exactly as it Adlubi described, the men hanging like sheep in a slaughterhouse. And then I obtain another footage from an undisclosed slaughterhouse in which you have the victims lined up on their knees. And in this one, it was literally a ritual sacrifice in which they were given as a qurban to Allah. تقبل قربانك. اللهم تقبل قربانك, he says. Lord, accept this offering as a sacrificial offering for you. And then he, تقبل منا, please accept the sacrificial offering, accept the sacrificial offering. They were doing a ritual. And then he says, Bismillah, in the name of Allah. And he commences firing in the back of the heads of these victims. And, most likely they get processed just like the others. And so we have at least 4 human slaughterhouses that we were obtained footage for, that a video is worth 1,000,000 words, a picture is worth 1,000 words, a video is worth 1,000,000 words. There's no question what is going on here. It is miniatures of what happened during Nazi Germany, but with a much different style than Cyclone B and poison showers. Here we have a meat processing of human beings. And then what is disturbing is I've been investigating what's going on in Syria for a while, and I've obtained from media sources in the Middle East, which you can see in previous research I did, in which they had a spread of Kuru. There were several cases of Kuru disease. Let's not forget, Kuru is a disease that is extinct, because last they made it extinct was from Africa when they had cannibalism. They knew, and they researched it, and the most prominent expert in Kuru says it comes only through eating human flesh. So it looks like the meticulous cutting hands and limbs in the Sab'a farm was processed for meat, for the consumption of human beings. And so either this has been sold to people as regular beef, lamb, or they're eating it intentionally. We do not know at this stage. But what we do know is that the eating of human flesh has been sanctioned, and we have also researched that. It has been sanctioned by an imam in Egypt, in which he aired it on An-Nas, the most prominent Muslim TV in Egypt, and he aired the sanctioning on the TV of eating the flesh of your enemy so long you eat it raw. However, we also seen a man eating a lung. He was supposed to be eating the heart, couldn't find the heart, and I'm sure you've heard about that video. He was eating. Right. My stars. Wow. So now this all connects. It connects further because there's much coverage on that from the Muslim media in areas. Now, not all Muslims agree on this. They're divided on the issue of the cannibalism. But it doesn't matter. If major imams talk about cannibalism and sacrificial offerings, then it is sanctioned in many circles in the revolutionary areas in Syria.
All right. Let me ask you this, Walid. Is this primarily for Christians or people of other faith?
Oh, no, no. It's not just Christians. It's anyone who doesn't agree with the Takfiri ideology. That would be even FSA, who are Takfiris, but they're not extent enough with the Al-Nusra. With the FSA and Muhammad slaughterhouses, it was for Christians and for Shiites, because the Shia, they call them Rawafid. In other words, they're renegades. So it's anyone for renegades, not praying 5 times a day, not praying 3 times a day, forgetting to fast Ramadan. I mean, it could be for anything, any infractions here. So it is Shia doing it. Sunni doing it against Shia, and especially Christians. And so Christians are not immune. And we've seen also, I've documented it in public, one slaughter of a Christian in which he tried to save his life by publicly converting to Islam, by raising his index finger, because when you raise your index finger, you're denouncing the Trinity, because Christianity believes in Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. So he raised the index finger and he gave the Shahadatan. I declare there is no God but Allah and Muhammad is his messenger, regardless to his conversion. And the guy says, commence slaughter, and the guy slaughtered him like sheep in front of the whole public. That is also posted on my blog.
Whoa.
Even conversion doesn't work because he still has to pay for his sin. The reason they had him convert is so he can enter paradise. So it's complicated with the Islamic theology. In fact, now we can understand how the Armenians were slaughtered, because we had first-hand account. For example, you had Samuel Gridley Ho, who was a historical, he was present during the genocide, and he gave a historical sketch during the Greek Revolution, in which, I quote him, he says, though the blood of a Christian is an acceptable offering to Allah. Yeah. In other words, it's a sacrificial offering. And of course, the example given on An-Nas TV in Egypt is from the history of Islam, when Ja'ad ibn, when Khalid Abdullah al-Qasri ritually sacrificed Ja'ad ibn Darham in the place of an animal sacrifice in a mosque. You have to understand, in Islam we have Eid al-Adha, which is the festival of sacrifice. That's when the story of Abraham to sacrifice his son
Isaac,
Islam, but he replaced it with a human sacrifice, and he sacrificed Ja'ad ibn Darham, and that's the example they know. In fact, the human sacrifice in Islam is accepted by the most prominent Muslim forefathers, scholars, and from the Sunni sect.
Wow.
Bukhari, Al-Dhahabi, Al-Qiyam, Darmi, and Ibn Kathir.
Let me take a quick break here, Walid. We'll come back. This is absolutely stunning, and I'd like you to respond as to why it seems to be going silent. I mean, we're just not hearing about this. I mean, you would think the UN would get involved in this, but anyway, we're going to be back with Walid Shoebat in just a moment. By the way, your website, before we take a break, people want to go to it. Where is it?
Just as you spell the word shoe and the word bat, shoebat.com. Shoe and bat. shoebat.com, and the video is on the right side in the archived area of the website.
All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Paulina, and I work at the DoveTV. Did you know that when you support the DoveTV, you have a profound impact, not only in our community, but around the world? It's your continued support that takes the inspiration and hope in the programs we produce and makes them available to the thousands of people who are watching these videos online every week. Help bring encouragement and hope to our valley and beyond by making a secure online donation today at our website, thedove.us.
Okay, we're back, and our special guest today is Walid Shoebat, and former PLO and Muslim Brotherhood member, now a peace activist, and he's sharing with us something that's absolutely stunning, and it's going on as we speak, and I hope that you can process this. Let me encourage you to go to his website. It's an incredible resource, and that's shoebat.com. And check out his resources there, and share that with some friends. We're talking about slaughterhouses for Christians, Islamic human slaughterhouses for Christians. And it's hard to believe that this is going on, but it's true, it is, as gruesome as it is. And it's part of their theology. He can explain that. But Walid, I just stunned that the world, there isn't an outcry with this. It seems like it's below the radar.
Well, the story is reminiscent to the initial reporting of extermination of European Jewry. And of course, you know the history of that. That history will predict it. I predict that history will repeat itself when it comes to the Christians in Syria and Iraq. I don't know if you know of the history of how the slaughter of 6 million Jews.
Right.
Initially, nobody wanted to say anything, even though the information was known. When I can give you the example of Dr. Gerhard Regner, who was representative of the World Jewish Congress in Geneva, in Switzerland. He learned what was going on from a German source, just like as we learned it here. Of course, he asked the American diplomats, just as we did as well. We informed. We send it out to senators, and we're going to send it out to the Congress. He informed diplomats in Switzerland, who informed Rabbi Stephen Weiss, one of America's most prominent Jewish leaders, of the systematic killing centers, just like what happened here. But the State Department, characteristically, decided not to do anything about it, and decided to cover it under the rug, and informed Weiss not to say anything about it. The rabbi, nevertheless, took a while till they basically it was out of the bottle. But that's the same case, and the reason politically why government won't do anything about it is because we've taken the stand to be trying to remove a dictator named Bashar al-Assad. No, Bashar al-Assad isn't as bad as these guys. And so it proves then the policy of the U.S. regarding Syria has been proven to be a sham. These are not rebels. These are butchers. They're undescribable. And it shows that the policy was wrong. And so they don't want egg on their face. And so the war goes on against Bashar al-Assad. Removing dictators in the Middle East, I was for 2 decades against the idea, even during Saddam Hussein. Saddam Hussein is really, he committed slaughter in Halabja, poison-gassed Kurds.
Right.
I still was against it because I knew it would be worse. And the situation of Iraq is similar. Those things extend to Iraq as well. It's not just in Syria. The news is yet to come out from Iraq. And so we removed Muammar al-Qaddafi. How's Libya doing? Pretty terrible. Egypt, we had a Muslim Brotherhood revolution. I was right. I was in Fox News. I remember even the problem is not only on the left, it's on the right too, because I remember I was in with David Asman on Fox News. I was chewed out by David Asman on Fox News. Well, you know how they split the screen. They had this other Egyptian guy saying the revolution was wonderful. We were holding hands, Copts and Sunni and all that stuff. And I said, no, this is going to be a winter. It's going to be terrible. It's going to plunge Egypt into the dark ages. I was right. Everyone else was wrong. That's why I always say, usually the few are right about stuff. Noah was right if you believe in the story of Noah, right. And the world drowned. So, facts and truth is, I talked about Syria's chemical weapon issues, and all these experts says, what do you know about chemical weapons? I was right. It was used by the rebels. Still, till today, we don't have really definite answers that Bashar al-Assad used chemical weapons. We have definite answers.
I don't think there's an American on the face of the earth right now that understands what our foreign policy is. If anything, it seems to be pro-Islamic.
Well, it's pitting Shia against Sunni and pitting Sunni against Shia. That's what it is. It's pitting one party against the other. In fact, I find that to be also in Sudan even. I investigated in Sudan, South Sudan. You have Barack Obama, his brother Malik Obama, meets with Keir Silva and does things and acts as a diplomat, in fact. He's in Macedonia acting as a diplomat, talking about his brother, Barack Hussein Obama, the president. And he does much influence in raising funds and recruiting extremist Muslims in Africa to go to Wahhabi schools. That's a whole long story that takes hours. In fact, it's been going on for a year without my investigation, showing with ample evidence, this kind of thing. Lewis Lerner giving him a 501c3 on a Sunday, for Pete's sake, as an urgent thing, that he needs to raise funds for what? What are they raising funds for? We traced the funds. We showed, We showed everything. We showed him, you know, donning even a Hamas kafiyah, where Israel is portrayed from the river to the sea.
Yeah.
The country's run amok, and we're in serious trouble.
Walid, share with us quickly your story. How did you go from PLO and Muslim Brotherhood to where you are now? What happened in your life that converted you out of that?
Well, I was involved in much trouble when I was during my youth in Israel. And of course, CNN tries to say I never planted a bomb, I never was in prison, but I dare anyone to bring any document or interview with any police officers in Israel, not in the Palestinian arena, from my relatives. They lie. And I had relatives who didn't lie. In fact, I showed their testimony, showing I was who I am. So I was involved in trouble when I was a young kid in the PLO, and was a terrorist, was imprisoned, came to the US and was in Chicago, was disenfranchised with being a PLO operative because we had sectarian divide even then between the Jordanians and the PLO, and so we wanted something more puritanical, and Islam united us all. So Jamal Saeed was ripe for this kind of mission. Jamal Saeed was a colleague of Abdullah Azzam, the godfather of Al-Qaeda, and that was during the 80-81, you know, and he was recruiting for Muslim Brotherhood. We joined, and then in 1993, I began to review my life as a challenge from my wife, because I told her the Bible has been corrupted, so on and so forth, and she asked me for proof. I purchased the Bible for $10, read it, and I spent a year studying it. I was fascinated with what I found, you know. It changed my hatred towards the Jew. I believe the Jew has a right to Israel for several reasons. And I became an advocate for Israel, for the Jewish people, and began to speak out. And that's when I ran into trouble. When I was a terrorist, it was okay. I was called a freedom fighter. Now that I've changed my views and began to kind of fight for my Christian faith.
Yeah.
And I am a Christian. If you go to my blog, you're going to find a lot of Christian arguments. I have arguments between Catholic, Protestant. I have argument. You know, I'm not a secular person. I began to also witness what happened to Christians and see that the major organizations, while they were in the awareness business, they were not in the real action business. Wow. So we are awareness and action. One Christian I was trying to help in Pakistan, you know, calling all these agencies, you know, and God bless them, they're good people, all these other agencies, but they don't actually take Christians out of harm's way. They give them blankets and they give them Bibles. Well, if the person is drowning, I don't send him a Bible on the end of a rope. I send him a tire. I bring him out, then I'll give him a Bible.
Yeah, right, got it, yeah.
And so we rescued 2,000 Christians in Pakistan. And in fact, before you guys called me, I was with Sister Hatun Dogan was calling me on Skype. She wanted to give me her report in Syria. We support Sister Hatun Dogan, who's a nun. She goes into Syria, into Iraq, to the danger zones. She aids Christian women who their husbands was killed, massacred, slaughtered, you know, the family victims, and goes and gives them encouragement and gives them money. So we give them money, and now we're trying to figure out a way. We have an extensive plan to bring in Christians out of the danger zone into an undisclosed area in the world.
Oh, good.
You're purchasing land, and it's a whole scheme.
Well,
it's a whole process. God
bless you. That is so wonderful. And again, let me just encourage our viewers and listeners. You may want to check out Walid's website, shoebat.com. Before I let you go, we are hearing of literally miraculous conversions of Muslims from Islam to Christianity. I mean, miraculous conversions, sometimes visions and dreams and things like that. And how dangerous are their lives now in light of these slaughterhouses being discovered when a Muslim converts to Christianity, even by miraculous means? They're well aware what that's going to cost them, but how threatening is it to their lives?
Well, the Quran sanctions killing any convert. It says very clearly in the Quran, فَإِن تَوَلَّوْا فَخُذُوهُمْ وَاقْتُلُوهُمْ. if they reneged from the faith, take them and kill them. And so it is definitely death penalty. In fact, on the Tasalik, which is the manual Muslims take even when they immigrate to America, in it says, you know, you must kill your own children. We had several cases in the U.S. in which, you know, they call it honor killing. Honor killing is not about just it's not about just a girl having an affair. No, no, no. It's about anyone who dishonors Islam in any way, shape, or form is to be slaughtered. You have also the doctrine of Muruna, which is another topic in which how the slick willies of Islam cover these things, and they are allowed to carry out killing and sanctioning prohibitions. In fact, in the Muslim Brotherhood theology, sanctioning prohibition is part and parcel of the theology. What does that mean? That means the 10 commandments, as we believe, can be sanctioned. It's no more prohibitions. Thou shalt not. It means thou can.
Wow.
For the sake of advancing the cause of Islam. Sanctioning prohibitions. This is a very serious thing. This means you can reverse all the theology. So we're dealing with a very diabolical, and it's Americans don't understand. You know what they're going to be seeing in the future.
Right.
Is like what happens during the Mayan dynasty of heart plucking and the whole thing. Apocalypto is not going to be a movie you watch. It's going to be a YouTube clip that you see live.
Right.
Or
right.
You know, and that's where we're heading towards in the Middle East.
Wow. Walid, thank you. I value our time. I know everybody wants you, and the time you've given to the Dove today is greatly appreciated. You're in our prayers and thoughts, and keep up the good work. I look forward to having you back often. And let me encourage you to go to his website. It's an incredible resource, Shoebat. Thank you, my friend. God bless you. Hang in there, okay?
Yes, sir. God bless.
Okay, God bless. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Daniel and I work at the DoveTV. You know, compared to Portland, Seattle, and LA, Medford might be considered a small market, but at the Dove, we're excited about the opportunity to make a big impact right here in our community. And you help make that happen. Did you know that more than 90% of our income comes from people like you? You can help us now by making a secure online donation at our website, thedove.us, or by phoning 541-776-5368.
Well, welcome back. We're going to open up the phone lines. I want to hear from you today, and maybe you want to respond to Walid Shoebat being with us today. I'm still trying to process what I just heard, and yet I have seen some clips of some of the videos that he talked about of human slaughterhouses for Christians in Syria. And as gruesome as all of that is, it's to me staggering that these things are happening in this modern day world where we cry for human rights, and yet it seems like it's an all-out assault on Christians, and not only obviously in some of these Muslim and Islamic countries, but even here in America, it seems like you can believe and do anything you want, but you can't believe and be a Christian. Maybe you have some thoughts on this, and what I'd like for you to do is share with me your thoughts. Our phone number, let me give you that first, is 541-776-5368, 541-776-5368. You're welcome to join us. Toll free, 1-800-373-5368. Here's what it appears to be at the moment. America's going through a lot of stress. I think that's the simple way to put it. Our value systems seem to be upside down. Right has become wrong. And I suppose I could sit here and go through the list of all the things that are wrong. And quite frankly, I get tired of hearing it. I listen to a lot of news and talk and all of that. And I don't think there isn't a one of us that wouldn't agree that, yes, things are upside down. And there's plenty of blame to go around. I mean, you can find somebody or something to blame. And we can criticize and blame all day long. And there are a lot of things that are wrong. But there are a lot of things that are still good and right. And the core of America, the purpose of America, what America's meant to be, is still in place, even though we're mismanaging it. And we're not being good stewards of some of these things. But when you hear a story like we just heard, where somebody's converted to Christianity and it's considered mercy killing to slaughter them like sheep or cows at a slaughterhouse and let them hang on a hook with their heads cut off, is an amazing thing to even think that is happening, and is history repeating ourselves. As you know, we were at the National Religious Broadcasters Conference a couple of weeks ago, and we were highly honored to receive another national award for the DoveTV, and we are humbled by that. I'm telling you, it's just a remarkable thing that the DoveTV, again, became LPTV Station of the Year nationwide, and we're grateful for that. But all of my years been going to that conference and meeting with fellow broadcasters and meeting with fellow Christian communicators. There was a seriousness over the conference this year that we have never sensed before, and that is, are we moving into a time in America where the Christian voice and the Christian ethic and the Christian principles are under attack to be silenced, primarily because they're stopping people from doing what they want to do? And we talked about that at length in some of the breakout conferences that were happening during the convention. And there was an overall seriousness that, are we prepared as Christian communicators to stand up for our First Amendment rights, to speak the truth in love, even if it costs things? And folks, one of my passions here at the Dove, and I want to just share this with you today. Yeah, you folks are absolutely terrific in helping us do what we do. I look back on your involvement in this ministry, and quite frankly, it is overwhelming. Sometimes it moves me to tears to see how you have stood with us and helped us, and you're doing it now as we move into a new facility. What's this really all about? Is it bigness? Is it buildings? Is it fanciness? No. It's taking these tools that God has placed in our hand: television, radio, the internet, mobile devices, smartphones, tablets, YouTube. All of these things are tools to reach people. And only God can match the content of that moment with the person's need. And literally, if you could read some of our emails that come in on a daily basis, or the letters of the people that stop by about how a certain program at the right time ministered to them, that's what it's all about. But what if every time we did that, we had to give an opposing view? What if I had all these people that we interview that give their testimony about Christ, if I was forced by the federal government to put somebody else on to talk about Allah? And as crazy as that sounds, these are the things that are facing. These are the headwinds that we are looking at as fellow broadcasters. Where are we going? And the other thing is this: is the message that we are preaching, is it clear? Are you hearing the gospel? Are you hearing that Christ loves you and He died for you? He died to cleanse you from your sins. And when you receive Him, He is the only way, the truth, and the light. And He is the only door to heaven, to the Father. When you receive Him, you have eternal life. Is that message clear? And I have become very conscientious now of everything that we put on the air. Is the message clear? There's a lot of aberrations of Christianity out there today, and I'm not here to criticize that. I am here to say that we are moving into a time in this country, and you probably have already faced it, that just because you are a believer and a Christian, people don't like you and think you're some kind of a aberration to society that you should be done away with or shut up and put down. What does the Bible say about these issues that we deal with, from the life of the unborn to traditional marriage and families and all of these things? We're perceived in advance as people of intolerance and hate, when in fact we're trying to hold up the truth on how God created all this from the very beginning. And then you hear about people now going to a slaughterhouse with their throat cut just because they have accepted Christ as their Savior. We are living in a biblical moment, and it's become an intense time. And I'm not trying to add pressure to your life. I'm trying to help you Do you have your belief system intact? Do you know what you believe? And do you have it solidly in your heart? Do you have Christ in your heart, the hope of glory? Do you know him personally? Do you have him there without a shadow of a doubt that no matter what comes your way, you will not move? And that's the essence of what we're trying to communicate. Anyway, get to preaching here. I better get to the phone calls. I want to hear what you have to say. If you want to join us, 541-776-5368. Or if you're outside the immediate area, I'd love to hear from you folks listening maybe up and down the Oregon coast, or maybe in Northern California, wherever you are watching on Roku. Give us a buzz toll free, 800-373-5368. Hi, Dick. What's on your mind today?
Good morning, Perry.
Hey.
That was a very interesting commentary by the, I mean, it's hard to believe almost, but yet it is not based on what has happened in the past. Like he said, history repeats itself.
Right.
I have two comments. Number one, if I understood him correctly, this was going on in Syria by the rebels, so-called rebels, which were seeking to overthrow the current dictator. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and guess who is being supported or was to be supported by our current president and the State Department foreign foreign secretary and all that.
That's the point. That's the point he was making, Dick, that because we don't have a solid foreign policy, and we were certainly, the whole Syrian thing and our involvement in there was absolutely unacceptable.
Well, I guess it's not surprising. The second point I wanted to kind of play with here a minute is, I have not heard of the disease curlew since I was in school years and years ago. It was a disease confined to headhunting tribes in Borneo or someplace like that,
right,
and had not been known, and yet here it is popping up in these areas. And the way that's transmitted, it's a disease somewhat like mad cow disease.
All right, now let me just tell our listeners, Dick is a
veterinary pathologist.
Veterinarian pathologist. So go ahead.
Anyway, this disease you get by eating the brains or nervous tissue of people, and that's how it's transmitted in these headhunting communities, which, is pretty much extinct now. But to have it pop up in a situation like this is just astounding.
Well, I've seen a couple of the beginning YouTube videos of what he's talking about. I don't have the stomach to watch all of it. I just don't, sorry. But I've seen enough where the glorification of killing a Christian and eating them is not only there, it's staggering, absolutely staggering that it's going on, and it's considered an honor to do it. I guess I'm stunned that in this modern age that this would go on for a second, that even the world community, through the whole argument of human rights, wouldn't be crying out on this one.
Well, human decency anyway.
Yeah.
But these people are not decent people. And it's my understanding also that it was not just against Christians. It was also against other Muslims, i.e. the Shia. And this was being done primarily by the Sunni.
Yes, you're right. And primarily Christians. However, anybody that would discredit the Islamic faith found themselves in these slaughterhouses. Other people of other faiths, but if a Muslim disrespected Allah, they were considered mercy killing as well. Mm. Yeah, thanks, Dick.
All right, thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Hey, hold on. We got a couple more phone calls. We'll take a quick break. Al and Christine, hold on. We'll take your calls in just a moment. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Paula, and I work at the DoveTV. Every day we get letters and emails from people who've been encouraged, blessed, and challenged by the programs on the DoveTV. But we couldn't do it without you. Did you know that more than 90% of our income comes from people like you? You can help us continue to bring inspiration and hope to our community by making a secure online donation at our website, thedove.us, or call us at 541-776-5368.
Okay, we're back, and a little open line today. I'd love to hear from you if you want to join the conversation. The local number in and around the immediate Medford area is 541-776-5368. If you're listening and watching outside of that area, we'd love to hear from you. Call in, tell us where you're calling from, and that is 800-373-5368. Again, 1-800-373-5368. All right, we've had some folks be very patient. Hi, Al. Thanks for your patience. Your thoughts today?
Yes, Perry, what you were asking the question about whether you're, doing the job that you think you're set out to do. Yesterday, when we were at First Church and we were listening to Restore America and the facts, I tell you, it draws you to tears to think about the fact that we've traveled a long ways away from what the founding fathers had obviously desired for this country, and the fact that watching the show, watching television, or listen to you on the radio, I really relish the fact that we get good news, good facts, good things that we get to hear that we know is truth, not something from the outside world trying to feed us a line. And the fact that we have something here and it's free. I get it free. I don't have any other means other than to just put it up and watch it off 44, channel 44, or I listen to you on the radio. But I really appreciate the fact that you guys are here, and we get to hear truth, and we get to know who Christ really is, because we get to keep us in our steadfast way of looking at what the Bible truly says. And I appreciate everything you guys have done.
Thank you.
And I really do.
Thank you.
Love watching.
Thank you. That means a lot. We thank you so much. We got a great crew behind the scenes. We've got great people that help us do research. Every once in a while we make a mistake. We're human. But our desire is, the scripture says, to know the truth will set you free. And I want to do this with compassion and love, but with clarity. And I appreciate those comments. Thanks, Al. God bless you, pal.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's see here. I got to hop along here. Hi, Christy. Thanks for calling back. What's on your mind today?
Hi, Perry. I'm so super glad that you're starting to expose these things. Well, you've been doing that for a little while now. I remember when I was trying to tell you about Obama, and I think you thought I was a little loopy, but I knew a long time ago. And so this is such a spiritual warfare age, and I'm so glad that you're waking people up so that, and then having growing into so many more formats so that people can really learn, like you said, to stand up for your faith and to be able to pray that they're able to stand no matter what comes our way, because it's coming and it's scary and it's heavy, but we've got Jesus, so we don't need to be afraid. But, frankly, it's pretty heavy stuff. And so I just want to thank you. I'm really glad that you're exposing this, and Walid knows what's going on, and there's several others that knows what's going on, and I think a Holocaust is coming our way. We've turned from the Lord in America, like you said. We've taken him out of our schools, out of everywhere. And then we go, where's God in all this? Well, because we kicked him out.
Well,
he's a gentleman.
I want to make sure that we don't become fatalistic in our thinking. If you look at the Bible, there's plenty of stories in there that says when the people turned back to God, God intervened. And we're coming to a time in this country where we're being tested for our faith. We never thought we would have to defend Christianity in America, but that's exactly where we are today. And we can do it with love. We don't have to do it with anger or hate. We can do it with love. And at the same time, while people are trying to stop Christianity, or at least put the message down, in their own heart, they are hurting. They're looking for truth. And if we respond to them correctly, we will win them. It is the greatest harvest time in the history of the earth is right now. And whoever thought that one of the greatest missions fields on earth would be America, but it is. And I think that one of the great tools to do the mission work in America is media. And so let's make sure that, yeah, things are tough, and they may get tougher. But I tell you that when they finally got into China and after the persecuted church, they found a real healthy church. And
exactly.
Maybe that's where we're going. So thanks, Christy.
Thank you, Perry. And I think that's what China prays for us, to be persecuted, because that's when we grow, right?
Well, it is. Yeah, it is. All right. Hey, thanks.
Thank you.
You too. All right. If you got a few moments left, 541-776-5368 or toll free 1-800-373-5368. Well, listen, I'm really here at the Dove. Behind this, we're trying to figure out, how do you respond to all of this? There's a lot. The main thing is, do you know Him? Do you know Christ? Do you have Christ in your heart, where no matter what comes your way, you're going to be okay? The Scripture says everything that can be shaken will be shaken until the relationship between you and Christ cannot be shaken. So He's going to shake your country. He's going to shake your theology. He's going to shake your finances. He's going to shake your relationships. He may even shake your health. Not because He's angry or mad. He does this so that you'll draw closer to Him. And once you are solid with Him, then God will dispatch you into this crazy world to be a soul winner. And that's really what it's all about. And I really hope that you will just kind of examine and say, all right, as for me and my house, we're going to serve the Lord, the Scripture says. Let me see if I can squeeze in a couple more real quick here. Sandy, go ahead. Hi.
Hi. Hey, I thank you for what you do.
Thank you.
I tell you, my son died about 20 years ago. And the way I got through that, the first several months, I turned on, it was TBN at the time, was the only thing that I could get, but 24/7, I just left it on, and I just kept pouring the Word into my ears, even if I didn't want to hear it, And I do the same with the Dove. I keep 2 radios going 24/7 all the time.
Good.
It's always good all the time.
All right.
And what you're putting out is a warning. They've removed the acronym AIDS from the Oregon law. It's no longer found. AIDS is not. It's HIV positive.
Yeah.
And it's against the law to test somebody, even if they're dead, for the HIV. It's really strange what they're doing, covering up a medical issue. And so covering things up is something we're doing in America all the time.
Well, again, make sure your faith is solid so you can handle this nonsense.
Yeah, and look for the truth.
There you go. Thanks, Sandy.
Okay.
Let me see if I can squeeze in one more before we run out of time here, if I get all my buttons to work here. Hi, Betsy, quickly, go ahead.
Hi, I appreciate this subject, but it's certainly revolting. And it reminds me of Randy Alcorn's book called Safely Home, which is about China and about what's really going on there. He took 7 trips over to China before he wrote this novel, and it's all fictitious, of course, but it's about what's actually happening there. And that's all being covered up, just like the last caller. Yeah. That's all being covered up too, and that's our biggest trading partner, or one of them.
Well, good. What's it called? Because I got to scoot. What's the book called?
It's called Safely Home, and it's about 2 individuals. It's
by Randy Acorn, right?
Randy Alcorn.
Okay.
Wonderful book.
All right. Thanks, Betsy. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. I'm out of time. Hey, again, I want to say to all of you, thanks for helping us with these items on our move. Oh, you are making a huge difference. And if you're still so led to help us, you can go to the website. You'll see the things that we're still trying to get funded so we can get them in place before our move at thedove.us. Thanks for whatever the Lord leads you to do. Hang in there. Hang in there. Stay faithful to God, and He'll stay faithful to you. We'll see you next time.
Hi, I'm Jim, and I work at the DoveTV. Every weekday between 6 and 8 a.m., our award-winning news and sports team bring you the best morning show around. It's live, it's honest, and it's a whole lot of fun. And you help make it happen. Did you know that more than 90% of our income comes from people like you? You can help us continue to air local programs that share your voice by making a secure online donation at our website, thedove.us.